Hey, it's Barbara here from the New Conscious Capitalist, and I wanted to walk you through what I'm doing right now, playing with AI to do a lot of my marketing and social media campaigns. I'm using it to help me write proposals, for grants, for doing all kinds of stuff, and I just started working on a fitness app. And the reason I was working on this app is I've been doing the 75 Hard Challenge almost coming up to a year now. The first series by Andrew Frisella, an amazing challenge that is really friggin' hard. And part of the challenge is it's actually not just 75 days, that's just the first bit. It goes on, there's different levels throughout a whole year. And part of my stress, I should say, of working with this app was there were things I didn't like about it. I didn't want to do that. I want to do this instead. And that's not part of the app because his process is you do this and you do and that's it. And there's no adapting, there's no modifying. And I wanted to do other things that were even better for the mental and physical health. Things like really getting your circadian rhythm back in sync. And instead of telling everybody you need to get up early, I've made an app. One of the habits is to say, take a sunrise photo. And that's kind of my subtle way of saying every human being needs more sunlight, pretty much, now that we're wearing clothes all the time and we're not running around naked through the woods, as apparently our ancestors used to do. But this whole process is what I wanted to work through. And I'm going to show you just a quick preview. And I'll show you it was working and now it stopped working. So if I try to hit a button, I get a big red thing up the top now that says, failed to update the app. Please try again later. That's not what I was looking for. But I am trying to design this app to be a really easy interface, an easy way to track some really important things on how you can improve your health. And instead of saying how much you need to work out, it's just saying get a workout in outdoors, get some strength training or breath work. If you're doing training 3 times a week, the other days you could do your breath work to calm you, to bring more oxygen into the system, picking a meal plan, 3 meals a day. Or some people said, I can't do that. I only do 2 meals a day. It's like, well, stick to your plan. If you stick to your plan and you're not making any exceptions for 21 days, then that works. And you're going to click the button that you were successful. I've added in meditation or visualization, whatever you want to do or however you call it, to really reset your energies and your intentions daily. Whether it's to relax more, whether it's to connect more to your highest self, whatever it is to you, that's what the goal is there. And I've added a practical thing for your daily life or your work life or what it is that you do to during the day that helps you stay alive, and that's completing your most important task. And it's because getting done the right things is so much better than just crossing everything off a list. So it's making sure that you're staying 100% focused on the most important tasks. But I want you to hear now the recording of some of the best user interface practices that I've been researching on how to make this app a little better and a little bit more intuitive. So stay tuned, listen to the end, and I hope you have a great day.
Welcome to this deep dive. Today we're getting really specific, focusing on something super interesting, the development of your new app, Fun Fitness Challenge.
Yeah, we've got some great source material here. Classic books on usability, human interaction, really foundational stuff.
And our mission essentially is to sift through all this and pull out the nuggets, the really actionable insights you can use right now for Fun Fitness Challenge.
Exactly. We want to help make sure it's not just functional, but, actually easy and enjoyable to use, getting that user experience right.
Okay, let's dive right in. One name that comes up immediately, Steve Krug. His main idea from Don't Make Me Think. Simple, but wow, so relevant for an app.
Oh, absolutely. Don't make me think. It sounds obvious, maybe, but it's profound. It means when someone opens your app, they should just get it instantly.
No puzzling over it.
No puzzling, no hesitation. They see a screen, they know what it is, they know what they can do, effortless.
Krug talks about that that mental chatter users have when things aren't clear, like,
Where am I? What's this button for? Should I tap this? What happens next?
yeah, all those questions mean friction. For Fun Fitness Challenge, you absolutely don't want users thinking those things when they're trying to, say, join a challenge or log their workout.
Precisely. Every screen, every element, ideally, should be self-evident, or at least self-explanatory.
So clear calls to action are vital.
Hugely. Not just submit, but log my 30-minute walk, or join this week's challenge. Specificity helps. And the navigation needs to feel natural, almost invisible, moving between challenges, progress, settings. It shouldn't require conscious thought.
Okay, another key point from Krug. People scan, they don't read, especially on screens. How does that impact how you should present information in the app?
It's fundamental. Forget dense paragraphs of text. Think visually scannable.
Like using headings.
Headings, definitely. Bullet points. Short sentences. Breaking up text. Using bold strategically to highlight the crucial bits, challenge goals, deadlines, your current stats.
So someone can just glance at it and get the gist.
Exactly. Quick comprehension. That's the goal. Especially for instructions or progress updates.
And then there's satisficing. That's Krug's idea that users grab the first reasonable option, not necessarily the perfect one.
Right. We don't optimize, we satisfy, we find something that looks like it'll work, and we go with it.
So for Fun Fitness Challenge, this means
It means the most important actions, the core functions, logging activity, viewing challenges, they need to be obvious, front and center, easy to find.
because users likely won't hunt through menus if the main thing they want isn't immediately visible.
Pretty much. Make the right path the easiest path. Don't hide the good stuff.
Krug also talks about conventions, web conventions, but the same applies to mobile apps, right? Familiar patterns.
Totally. Users build up expectations from other apps they use, how navigation works, where certain buttons usually are, standard icons.
So when should you stick to those conventions for Fun Fitness Challenge, and when is it okay to innovate?
Well, for the basics, so like a bottom tab bar for main sections or standard back buttons, it's usually best to stick with what people know. It reduces the learning curve.
Makes it feel familiar?
Right. Save the innovation for the unique aspects of your fitness challenges, the features themselves. Don't reinvent the wheel on basic navigation if you don't have a really, really good reason.
Makes sense. He also covers visual hierarchy and relationships, using design to guide the eye.
Yeah, this is crucial for making complex information digestible. Hierarchy means making important things look important.
Bigger text, maybe? Bold fonts?
Deeper text, bolding, color contrast, using white space effectively, position on the screen. All these signal what to look at first. In your app, maybe the main challenge goal is visually dominant.
And visual relationships.
That's about grouping things that belong together. Like, all the details for one daily task within a challenge should be visually contained, maybe in a card or using consistent styling so it's clear they're related. It helps organize the interface.
Now, Krug updated his book for mobile, talking about that itty-bitty living space. Designing for small screens forces trade-offs.
Oh, absolutely. Mobile is all about prioritization. You just can't fit everything.
So for Fun Fitness Challenge, what's non-negotiable for that mobile screen?
You need to figure out the absolute core tasks someone will do on the go. Logging a quick workout, checking today's challenge task, viewing current progress. Those need to be super accessible, maybe even on the main screen.
And less critical stuff might need to be tucked away.
Exactly. Or maybe it's only in a settings menu, or perhaps even reserved for a larger screen version if you ever did one. Ruthless prioritization is the name of the game on mobile.
Which leads nicely into mobile-first design. Does that approach fit well for a fitness app like this?
I think it does, yeah. Designing the core mobile experience first forces you to focus on what's truly essential. You nail that streamlined on-the-go experience, and then you can think about adding enhancements for larger screens if needed. It ensures the primary use case is solid.
Okay, let's bring in Don Norman, the design of everyday things. He talks about affordances and signifiers. How do those apply on a touch screen where you can't, like, hover over things?
Great question. An affordance is what an object allows you to do, a button affords pushing. A signifier is the clue that tells you about the affordance.
So like the shape of a button.
Exactly.
Ah.
Or its color, a shadow, an icon. On mobile, since you lose that hover feedback, signifiers become even more critical. You need clear visual cues that say, hey, you can tap this or you can swipe here.
So for your app, interactive elements need to look interactive.
Yes. Buttons should look like buttons. Things you can swipe might have visual hints. Clear labels help too. Users need to know what's tappable and what isn't, just by looking.
Norman also talks a lot about learnability. If you do introduce some novel interactions in Fun Fitness Challenge, how do you help users learn them?
Good onboarding is key. Not necessarily a long, boring tutorial, but maybe a quick, interactive walkthrough of the main, perhaps unfamiliar features the first time they use it.
Like tooltips or a short guided tour.
Something like that. And beyond onboarding, make help easily accessible. Maybe a simple FAQ or context-sensitive tips. Learnability isn't just a one-time thing.
Norman really champions human-centered design. He mentions conceptual models, the user's mental picture of how the app works. How do you build a good one?
You build it through the system image, which is basically everything the user interacts with. The layout, the labels, the feedback, the flow. If the system image is consistent and logical, users form a clear mental model.
So if challenges always look and behave similarly,
Users build an understanding. Yeah. Challenges have a goal, tasks, and rewards. If things work predictably, the model becomes clear and the app feels intuitive.
Norman also warns about the paradox of technology. More features don't always mean better. Sometimes they just mean more confusion.
Absolutely. Feature creep is a real danger. It's tempting to keep adding things, but you risk overwhelming the user and burying the essential functions.
So for Fun Fitness Challenge, it's about focusing on doing the core things really well.
Exactly. Nail the experience of joining challenges, tracking progress, seeing results. Get that smooth and easy before piling on extras. Balance features with usability.
He outlines those 7 stages of action users go through: goal, plan, specify, perform, all the way to comparing the outcome. How is that useful?
Thinking through that cycle for key tasks in your app helps you spot where things might break down.
Like, can users easily figure out how to log their activity? Specify. Is the action itself easy? Perform. Is the feedback clear? Perceive, interpret.
Right. If you map out, say, joining a new challenge using those stages, you might find bottlenecks or confusing steps you hadn't considered. It's a great diagnostic tool.
He also distinguishes between knowledge in the head and knowledge in the world, what users remember versus what the interface tells them.
The goal is to minimize reliance on knowledge in the head. Don't make users remember complex steps or obscure icons. Put the necessary information in the world in the interface itself.
Clear labels, visible options, persistent navigation.
Exactly. Make the app tell the user what they need to know, right when they need it. Contextual help, clear instructions. It reduces cognitive load.
Norman also talks about constraints limiting actions to guide users and prevent errors. What kind might apply in a fitness app?
Well, you can use semantic constraints like a duration field only accepting numbers. Logical constraints, maybe you have to complete one step before the next becomes available. Cultural constraints using familiar icons like a settings gear.
These guide the user.
They guide the user and make errors less likely. They gently nudge people towards the correct way of doing things without feeling too restrictive, ideally.
What about forcing functions? Things that stop you from proceeding incorrectly.
Those can be useful sparingly. For example, maybe you can't save a workout log until you've entered a duration. It forces the necessary action.
But you have to be careful not to make them annoying.
Definitely. Too many forcing functions can feel like the app is nagging you. Use them for critical steps where an error would be problematic, but keep them gentle.
Feedback is obviously huge. What kinds of feedback are essential in Fun Fitness Challenge?
Immediate feedback is key. Tap a button. It should react visually. Log a workout. Get a confirmation. Update progress. See a change.
Visual changes, confirmation messages.
Yeah, and motivational feedback too. Badges, progress bars filling up, leaderboard updates. It tells users their actions had an effect and encourages them. But again, balance. Too many notifications can be overwhelming.
Norman talks about 3 levels of processing: visceral, behavioral, reflective. How can your app appeal to all 3?
Okay, so visceral is that immediate gut reaction. Does the app look appealing? Clean design, nice colors. That hits the visceral level.
First impressions.
Exactly. Behavioral is about the use itself. Is it easy to use? Does it feel smooth and efficient? Completing tasks easily provides behavioral satisfaction.
And reflective.
That's the long-term feeling. Looking back, do users feel a sense of accomplishment, pride in their progress, connection to the challenge? Does the app help them feel good about their fitness journey? Appealing to all 3 levels creates a much stickier, more positive experience.
He also mentions flow, getting lost in an activity. Can a fitness app achieve that?
I think so. Flow happens when the challenge matches the user's skill level. So offering challenges that aren't too easy or too frustratingly hard is key.
Maybe offering different difficulty levels or challenges that adapt.
Potentially. Variety helps too. If users can find challenges that genuinely engage them and feel achievable but still require effort, they can get into that flow state while exercising or interacting with the app.
And we definitely want to avoid taught helplessness, where bad design makes users blame themselves.
Oh, absolutely. If the app is confusing or error-prone, users might think they're the problem. Good design, clear, consistent, forgiving, prevents that. It should empower users, not make them feel incompetent.
Norman also talks about errors, slips, and mistakes. How can design minimize those?
Slips are execution errors like tapping the wrong button. Good design helps prevent these with clear targets, spacing, maybe confirmation dialogues for important actions.
And mistakes.
Mistakes are errors in understanding, like misunderstanding how a challenge works. Clear instructions, intuitive flows, and helpful feedback can reduce mistakes. Thinking about common errors users might make in designing to prevent or easily recover from them is crucial, like the Swiss cheese model, having multiple layers of defense against errors.
Okay, so both Krug and Norman are huge on testing. Krug particularly pushes discount usability testing. What's that about?
It's basically saying you don't need a fancy lab or tons of users to get incredibly valuable insights. Just watch a few people, literally even 3 or 4, try to use your app.
Just observe them.
Observe this, yes, and have them try to complete specific, realistic tasks relevant to Fun Fitness Challenge, like find and join a beginner step challenge, or log the walk you just took.
And the think aloud protocol is important here.
Crucial. You ask the participant to say whatever they're thinking as they use the app. Okay, now I'm looking for a button that says challenges. I don't see one. Maybe it's under profile.
Gives you insight into their thought process.
Exactly. You hear their expectations, their confusion, their assumptions. It reveals problems you'd never spot just by watching clicks.
And after the test, the debriefing.
You sit down, review your notes, and identify the key problems you saw.
Yeah.
Where did people get stuck? What caused the most frustration?
And then you fix things.
You prioritize. Fix the biggest roadblocks first, the things preventing users from completing core tasks. Krug says even small tweaks based on testing a few users can make a massive difference. And don't forget to look at competitor apps too, see what they do well or badly.
Looking ahead, Norman notes that tech changes, but people, not so much. What's the long-term takeaway for Fun Fitness Challenge?
Resist creeping featureism. Don't just keep adding features because you can or because competitors do. Stay focused on the core user needs your app solves.
Keep it usable, even as it evolves.
Precisely. Focus on those fundamental principles of human-centered design, usability, clarity. Those things don't go out of style. Continuous learning, listening to users, and prioritizing ease of use over sheer feature count is the path to lasting success.
So wrapping this up for you, the big themes from these sources really circle back to putting the user absolutely front and center, making Fun Fitness Challenge intuitive, obvious, forgiving.
And testing. Testing early, testing often. Even if it's quick and simple, it's about ensuring the app works for real people, not just in theory. It should feel less like using technology and more like just doing the thing you want to do.
Right. It's about removing the friction between the user and their fitness goal.
Make
So that was a deep dive into what I'm trying to do and look at to make my app the best. And the reason, again, I'm really making this app is because I think everybody can take better charge of their own health, of their own life. And for me, using AI, and I used Replit AI here, let me know if you'd like the link to sign up to get some free days. I'm not sure how many days that is, but click the link and have a look. Start something. Do something. Move. Move your body, move your brain, get your thoughts going, get your creativity going, and see you soon.